$30,000 in a day. Didn't give me a smile. I thought, Jack, you're fucked up. There's something wrong with you, mate. You've got to sort this out. I believe the problems that you face, the answers to those problems are held at some point on a vibrational frequency. You say this stuff to people your own age and they're like, what the fuck, man? How do you know that? It's like, it's basically in all these books, you just have to read them, but nobody reads. And I believe 100% in my mind, if somebody else can do it, I can also do it. Surround yourself with books about wealth, about abundance, about the greatest minds that have ever lived, and you will become them. You will slowly indoctrinate yourself into that way of thinking. You also need to destroy the mental beliefs that making money is hard, because making money is not hard. You also need to destroy the beliefs that if somebody else makes money, it means you can't make money, because that's not true. When somebody else makes a lot of money, that is proof that you also can make a lot of money.
We're back.
Back again already, Tom.
Back again.
We've flown Tom out again because he did such a wonderful job on the first pod that I like having you as a host. And Bill's gone back to England.
Bill has gone back to
Bill
England.
ran back to England after the first pod. I don't know why.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me again.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're welcome around my house anytime, mate.
Thank you, sir. Careful what you say, but yeah.
Today's pod, lads, we want to give you some real value on how to get ridiculously rich and wealthy and live a good life. Because I think there's a direct correlation between the amount of fun you have and the amount you're enjoying your life and the amount of money you make. And I first realised this when my friend David, the Spanish David from the New Elite, he said to me, Jack, you seem to never work and you make more money than everybody else. And at first it was a joke, and he always says it to me, and I started thinking about it. Actually, he's right. The more I appear to just be enjoying myself, the more I appear to be mentally sound and strong and fit and handsome and fucking tanned and looking after myself, actually, the more money historically, when I look back, I have made. So I've started thinking about that and breaking it down and putting it into a system. And that's what I wanted to talk with you about today, Tom, because I think, well, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think you feel the same way, right?
Yeah, and it's all about that inner state, right? It's that inner state, and then the outer reality, the outer world changes around that. So it's the most important work we can do each day is that inner place, that inner state. And attracting abundance, whatever that is. Yeah.
And it's the work that nobody does.
Yes.
It's the work that nobody even looks at.
It's difficult.
And I recently have had to go into this massively because I was nobody would have noticed this from the outside, but I was in a bad place. I was burnt the fuck out, like on a major level, just running on fumes, running on empty for months on end, to the point where I was just starting to really get overwhelmed and a bit insane in my head. And you've obviously seen, but not many people will know because I never talked about it, but used to take these snus pouches. In the US, you call them Zins. We have like the Velo pods. And in the US, you guys have like 3 milligram and 6 milligram. In Thailand and in the UK as well, they go up to like 50 milligrams per snus. And I was taking, in the height of my addiction to these nicotine things, probably 15, 20 milligrams snuses a day because of basically snus or nicotine increases your dopamine, right? So when it increases your dopamine, it makes you want to do your work.
Yep.
And I just got to the point where I was fully running on nothing natural. I was purely running on either 6 coffees or 6 or 7 Red Bulls in a day, along with 10 to 15 snus. And I just got to a point where I had no soul left. My soul had fucking fallen out of my body. I was just a shell. And I realised, like, Jack, what the fuck is the point in doing all of this? What's the point in having all the money? What's the point in having a brand or a YouTube or a podcast if you're not even a person anymore? If you're just fueling yourself with all this bullshit. And that's what brought me back into the mindset of like, let's think about what actually really matters and what really counts. And I think when you dial into that, the most important thing, the inner work, who you are, you get more success anyway. So you got to get off the hamster wheel. And I did that recently by quitting the snus. So on about 6 days, I haven't had any nicotine. I've reduced my coffee to 3 cups a day. And I'm starting to feel like a human being again. And I've slept 8 or 9 hours a night. And I feel friendly. I feel nice. I just feel like I can think again. which is really nice.
Feeling more like yourself.
I'm feeling way more like myself.
What do you mean burnt out? Like, because look, a lot of guys will see you and, you know, see everything you're posting on Instagram and your YouTube. You're still training, you're still smashing, you're still making loads of money.
Yeah.
So burnt out, what does that look like? And how can people kind of, the beginning stages of it, how can people spot it that they're maybe feeling a bit burnt out?
Oh, 100%. This is so important. So for me, you guys see 10% of my life on Instagram. Everything can look good on someone's Instagram, right? But you don't not hear in the darker moments, in the moments where I'm sitting there and thinking, fuck, you know, I can't do this another day. I can't get on camera another day. I've just don't have it in my soul. I don't have anything to give. I don't feel nice. I don't feel good. Burnout for me is a loss of my positive emotions when I feel like I'm not enjoying anything. So I just noticed that I wasn't enjoying anything. I wasn't enjoying my workouts. I wasn't enjoying my work. I wasn't enjoying eating food. I wasn't enjoying going for any of the simple things in life, which you should be enjoying. I was no longer enjoying, and I thought, well, there's a big problem there. I think I've destroyed my dopamine receptors, and that's why I'm not getting any enjoyment. The same when you do a dopamine detox, right? And you come back and even simple tasks like your work are enjoyable. I'd fried my dopamine sensors through an overuse of nicotine. And my first sign of burnout is that I'm not enjoying anything. I'm just chasing. So for me, it was like I made £24,000, $30,000 in one day, and it barely gave me a smile. $30,000 in a day. Didn't give me a smile. And I thought, Jack, you're fucked up. There's something wrong with you, mate. You've got to sort this out.
Yeah.
And yesterday I went for a walk. I did stuff, just normal things like reading by the pool, and I went for a walk and I wrote down some ideas, and I realised that when I slow down and I appreciate my life, I'm way better to do my work, and I feel like I'm getting into a much better place.
That's awesome, man. Mate, it's interesting because picking apart, you know, your journey as well, you obviously moved to Thailand, Koh Samui, new start. It was a new start for you. When you went, and you would have been feeling like a different way. So you just said then that you were starting to enjoy the simple things again. And then when you start to enjoy the simple things again, you feel more like yourself and you start to attract, you know, more opportunities and things. So it's interesting. I was thinking about this earlier because obviously we spoke yesterday. You said, hey, this is kind of like the type of thing I'd like to chat about on the podcast. And I was thinking about your story moving to Thailand in somewhat parallel to mine as well. I think it happened kind of at a similar time, even though we didn't know each other. But when you moved to Thailand, and when I moved to Thailand, you kind of step into a new identity. And you, obviously, you moved to Thailand and mate, it's fucking incredible. Like, it's fucking incredible what you've done. But what's really interesting there is that new identity that you stepped into. And I think what would be interesting for people to hear is, what were you feeling at the time? So like when you moved to Thailand, did you feel free? Did you feel like abundant? Because like just you had all of these opportunities, you felt limitless because your life has been pretty limitless since, you know? So yeah, what were you feeling? Because those things that we feel on the inside, they start to reflect on the outside as well. So I think it'd be interesting to know kind of like, where you were at that time.
Yeah, I felt scared. I felt excited. I felt happy. I just felt like my whole world had just opened up into this new thing. My mind was being expanded at a crazy rate. I was seeing all these new things, having these new experiences in my life, and I just felt open to opportunities and to new people and to a new way of living. I felt like I could become what I wanted to become because nobody knew me. So I was carving my own destiny in real time. When I moved countries, I think that's why every young man should move away from his hometown at some point, is so that you can do that. And I did that in Thailand. And when people met me, I'd tell them who I wanted to be. I wouldn't tell them who I was. I'd say, I'm a YouTuber. I run an online business, when really I didn't do any of those things yet. None of them were working. But I was able to say it and people believed me. And people just knew that side of me. And then I was able to become that. I'd be interested to know from you, Tom, just going back to our last point with the burnout, is that something that you experience? How do you navigate that? You always seem super grounded. You always seem super centered. You seem to know what actually matters in your life. And how the hell do you do that?
Yeah. So
because I'm getting lost all the time.
Have you heard of the phrase swanning? So swanning is where a swan moves gracefully on top of the water, but underneath like the feet. going like this,
Yes,
keeping
yes,
it
yes,
looking majestic,
yes.
but really there's a lot going on. Yeah, no, yes and no, like everyone, ups and downs. My biggest thing I notice is if I don't want to spend time with myself, if I start not wanting to sit with myself in quiet, then I know that something's up. I probably got too much going on. I can't quiet my mind. The momentum of the day is kind of all consuming. That's when I know that I need to do something. And for me, the check-in is, I love, literally my favorite thing to do in the world that makes me feel wealthy and makes me just feel connected to nature, connected to God, connected to just the best, is going for a fucking walk in the trees. And like for an afternoon, not just, little wander, going up a mountain, being in nature, walking along the beach. Where I'm staying at the moment, there's these great kind of like rock formations, and you can just walk bay to bay and just explore. There's no one there because no one else is doing it. You can just explore, walk around, and you can watch the sunset, and you're just in nature. And anyone can do it. You can just take yourself for a walk, and whenever my mind is going, I've got loads going on, I'm worrying about things, I've got that kind of knot forming in the stomach. All right, I need to go walk up a mountain. Because when you're walking up a mountain or you're walking along the coast, you can't think of anything else. Make sure it's hard enough, not just a little stroll. And for me, that's whenever I realize I'm kind of spinning out of control a little bit, I'm like, right, when's the last time you took yourself for a walk or a hike?
Yeah.
I'm like, right, go do a hike.
Put your dog lead on and take yourself for a walk.
Take yourself for a walk, yeah.
The reason I think that's important, it comes down to vibrational frequencies and what vibration you are vibrating at. So I believe, and some people think this is mumbo jumbo, but I've found it to be very true in my life. I believe the problems that you face, the answers to those problems are held at some point on a vibrational frequency. At the top of the vibrational frequency, you've got like joy and peace and love. When you're in these emotions, you can find all the answers that are up here. And down here, you've got fear and sadness and guilt. Those sorts of emotions put you on a low vibrational frequency. Now, if you try and solve your problems, for example, before you go for your walk, the walk is putting you into a higher vibrational frequency.
Yes.
If you try and solve problems from a low vibrational frequency, it's like butting your head against the wall. You don't find the answers there. And the reason why is because those answers to these feelings are found in high vibrational frequencies. So I have a belief in my mind that stops me from getting overwhelmed. And that's that the answers to all of my problems, everything I face in my life is out there. And it's on its way to me if I can receive it. And the way I have to receive it is by becoming a high vibrational person, by increasing my vibration to a point where I can access those frequencies, which means I need to fill myself with gratitude. I need to spend some time in nature. I need to work out my body and fill myself with endorphins. Then I'm at a level where I can now receive the answers that are coming in.
So I have a question. If by raising your vibration, are the answers out there or are they in there already?
That's up for your interpretation.
Yeah.
Are they already inside you and you're just discovering them, or are they coming to you from outside? Personally, I believe there's a universal and infinite intelligence. And I can download.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. If I'm at the right frequency, I can download. If I'm feeling good, I can download. Now, what I'd felt recently with this burnout, with what I'm talking about here, I wasn't getting any downloads. I was at the wrong frequency. I was so burnt out. I was so fucking run into tiredness and just fake energy that I had no space for downloading. And downloading comes, like you said, on the walks alone, it comes in solitude. It comes when you're alone and you feel good about yourself.
You have to create space for it. You have to
Yes.
create space for it energetically. And there's so much we could go off on here. I wanted to pick up on, you said that some people think about vibrations. It's like mumbo jumbo, woo woo.
Yep.
Get a grip, mate. Like, there's this big belief that kind of like spirituality, which is what you're talking about right now, and science, like they're all moving together. Science, and my background's in the music industry. I've done music engineering. I understand like the science of music. And the science of music is that it's vibrations. Like music is vibrations, same as your voice, that hit you. And that's how you hear them. You either feel them or you hear them. Now, that's on the electromagnetic light spectrum. The sound frequency is a certain range of that. Okay, so if we get really like into it, our tools here, this, meat computer, all of this stuff is just able to absorb reality in different ways. Our eyes can see a certain part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Our ears, it's a different bit. So everything's vibrating. Everything's vibrating. So when you say things like this, like get into a higher vibration, like it's not that it's this crazy woo-woo stuff. It's like, yeah, that's actually what is exactly happening. And there's certain feelings that you can feel, like you said, gratitude being one of them, that do raise your vibration. One of the things that I think people get wrong here, there's a lot of kind of spiritual stuff online. There's a lot of woo-woo stuff, and there's a lot of people who they look very, very floaty. One of the things I wanted to sort of point out here that I think is often missed in this space, getting into this higher vibration, it's an expanding. It's not a... It doesn't mean that you are the rest disappears. So, for example, there's this idea that, hey, look, pain is just a construct that we make up in our own minds. Okay, when you stub your toe, that will hurt. Like, you can think of stubbing your toe as like a spiritual experience. Like, it will hurt. The pain, you know that you don't necessarily it doesn't matter. You don't need to feel it. Like, stubbing your toe will always fucking hurt. Like. And it's the same with these, the fear and doubt. It's all there all of the time, but it's about how much can you expand? Can you expand higher? And it doesn't mean that you ignore the rest, okay? And I think this is something that often makes it very undigestible for people when they hear these things. It's like, what, am I just going to float on the clouds and like create my reality? All right, man. It's like, no, it's all of it. It's all of it.
And I think it's, like you said, it's real stuff. It's not mumbo jumbo, and it doesn't need to be weird. It doesn't need to be what you consume yourself with. I'm not consuming myself every day with hours and hours of spiritual teachings or spiritual stuff. I'm doing action. I'm doing work. But first, before I do that action, before I do that work, I need to be in a good place. And I don't feel like when we come back to making money, all this ties into how good you are at making money. If you don't personally self-develop, and personally self-develop is looking after the way that you feel and the way that you operate as a man, your level of net worth will never exceed past your level of personal development.
Yes.
And that's what so many business guys, so many analytical guys, so many guys stuck in the grind, they totally forget that. They think I'm work. You have to have balance in your life. You have to be feeling good to deliver your best work. You have to have a routine that looks after you, that looks after your mental health. If you don't, you will get burnt out. And it doesn't matter that you've done 2 months of amazing work, because now you're at a point where you can't do any work. You can't produce anything. And one of the books that really helped drill this home for me in terms of the vibrational stuff, and it'd be interesting to know what books you've read on this, but what's it called, that German book? Transcending.
Oh, Transurfing Reality.
Transurfing.
Yeah.
Reality Transurfing.
Reality Transurfing, yeah.
It's a German book. You can find English.
I think it's Russian.
Maybe it is Russian.
Yeah.
You can find English interpretations of the book, and it teach you all about frequencies. How do you ride the wave of success? How do you not get drawn into negative ideals and ideas? How do you protect your energy?
Yeah.
What is your energy? How do you use it positively? And that book was absolutely incredible for me. How did you first learn about this stuff?
Yeah, good question. That's a great book, by the way. Vladimir, someone, I can't remember his name, but yeah, that's an awesome book. And it's interesting. All of these books are different ways to point towards the same truth, to help us remember the same truth. And I think a lot of people can maybe get caught up on all right, what's the exact book? Whatever feels good to you, whichever you can really kind of get stuck into, that's the one that's going to carry you forward and is going to walk you up the mountain. I kind of view it as and I view religion the same way. It's like we're trying to get to the top of the mountain, but there's just different paths that you can walk. But everyone's trying to get to the top of the mountain, and we're just arguing about which path is best. But they're all leading the same way.
Yeah.
They're all signposts. For me, a lot of it came through music and kind of really understanding music and really meditating on music. I've produced a lot of music. And really understanding about this vibrational stuff, really understanding how you can put a feeling into music. Music is the purest form of communication because it transcends language, and you're literally making a vibrational energy package that you can listen to, and there you are. There's a feeling. Have it. So that's interesting because what data is being transferred there through these vibrations? That's kind of what's got my head spinning. and kind of digging into this stuff. So yeah, it's really through music. A lot of the books that I would recommend, so the one you got there, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, Wayne Dyer, study of the Tao Te Ching. Tao Te Ching's been a huge part of my life in the last 2 years. That leads nicely into this, and it also really talks about flow as well, about what you called getting into like a beautiful state, getting into a state each day when you're in a flow state, how to do that. So yeah, and how to allow things around you as well to aid you, and understand that when you're in a flow state, it's not just you doing it. It's like everything's conspiring to work with you, and holding that belief means that that is true. That's the crazy thing. When you believe that everything around you is transpiring to help you on whatever your mission is, you will act in that way.
Yes, that's incredibly important. How much of your day as an entrepreneur do you put towards so for an entrepreneur that's listening to this right now and they're feeling, fuck, I'm a little bit burnt out. I feel like everything's so hard. I'm trying so hard and I'm not getting anything. How much of your day is focused towards self-growth, personal growth, looking after yourself compared to your work? How do you split that up?
Yeah, so I'm similar to you where it's like before midday, you can't access me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not looking at my phone. So yeah, I call it like getting sparked. So like the idea is straight away, it's kind of tune into that frequency. How quickly can you do that? How quickly can you do that in the day? Get into that place. Running is a fucking sick one to do.
Yep.
So just getting on the treadmill and just blasting it. Like I don't even look at distance or anything. I'm just like, right, I'm going to go until it's like I'm going to throw up. And that gets me like in that state.
Yep.
And then, but then a big part of it is kind of meditation at the beginning of the day. That's very important. Just taking some time. Because look, here's what's going to happen when the day comes to you. You're either going to be existing throughout the day and you're going to be creating and you're going to be putting stuff out. You're either going to be creating or you're going to be reacting. Yeah. You've got those two. You want to be creating. If you want to be building wealth, if you want to be building a business, you need to be in a creative state. If you wake up, your alarm goes off, you check your phone, you check your notifications, you see this, you're now in a reactive state. And it's very hard to get out of that reactive state.
That can screw you up.
That can screw you up for a whole day.
From the whole start of the day.
And then you got to wait till tomorrow to start again.
Then you got to wait till tomorrow. I agree. I think all money stuff is mental stuff. One of the greatest books I ever read about money was Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. And a lot of people don't understand that book. And if you don't understand that book, you're probably not making a lot of money yet, because it's about the mental game behind wealth. People look at how to create money and they look at business ideas, but they don't realize how heavily mental it is. It's changing your constructs and your ideas and your beliefs around money. If you come from a family that has never had access to wealth, that's never had any real rich people around you, you've got some very deep-seated beliefs in your personality about money and about how hard it is to make. That's the number one thing. When you're constantly around people that are struggling, all you see is this struggle for money, this struggle for making an extra $1,000 here, an extra $1,000 there. There's no abundance in your life. And in your head, you've probably heard your whole life, rich people are evil. Rich people, they should give some of that money away. You've started to get these ideas like people will let you know that money is bad. Money is the root of all evil. Money's not the root of all evil. Some of the worst people I've met have been some of the poorest people, the least generous, the least kind. They want something from everybody. They're constantly looking. And some of the best people I've met have been the richest, that are just super generous. They have no need to take anything from anyone else because they sorted themselves out. And now they're just in a position to give. So the first thing you do in your mind when you want to make more money is you need to destroy these mental beliefs that money is bad. You also need to destroy the mental beliefs that making money is hard, because making money is not hard. You also need to destroy the beliefs that if somebody else makes money, it means you can't make money, because that's not true. When somebody else makes a lot of money, that is proof that you also can make a lot of money. And my biggest thing in my life has been mindset. How do we destroy all these limiting beliefs? And I believe 100% in my mind, if somebody else can do it, I can also do it. That's just what I believe about anything in the world. If I want to become a billionaire, I can become a billionaire because another human being has done it and I have access to the same world and the same resources as them. So I can also achieve it. And I think that's probably the biggest thing about money that you can possibly learn is your mindset around money and your mindset around abundance.
The glory of God is a human being fully alive. The glory of God is a human being fully alive. The best thing you can do for others is raise yourself up, because look, I've been around you enough to know that is what you do, bro. You are a giver. You really give people opportunities. You give people around you. You bring them up, and that's a huge gift. Now, people might not like what I'm about to say, but how many times have you given money away to sort of beggars on the street, and they're still there a year later? It's not to do with the money, it's to do with their internal state. Yeah. And look, sympathy for everyone. There's some very difficult positions that people find themselves in. I understand that. And I'm not saying, hey, beggars, just vibrate differently.
Yeah. But although you understand it, again, nobody's coming to save you.
Yes.
You got to fucking do something, man. It doesn't matter. There's somebody who's been in a worse situation before that's done something and turned their life around. So I don't believe in that. As much as there are difficult situations, fucking do something about it. Don't let it get you down.
You've got to believe, and there's a few interesting things there. Like, belief is everything, because that will carry how you act and how you show up moment to moment. If you fully believe in yourself, you show up very, very differently into a moment than someone who doesn't believe in themselves. So, example I often give is, let's say with networking, or let's say just with making friends. If you believe that you're like an awkward person and that people don't like you, you hold that belief, okay? For whatever reason, conditioning, whatever has happened in your life that you believe that. When you enter into a new situation, you will be an awkward person, because that's what you believe about yourself. Something will be off, you'll stutter your words and you'll just say something weird, and people will be like, I felt uncomfortable, because they feel your uncomfortableness.
Yep.
Whereas if you believe about yourself, hey, I'm someone who people enjoy spending time to be around me, then you will act like that. So the question is, how do you shift your beliefs? How do you get from notice a belief that you have? How do you break that belief? And then how do you install a new belief? And obviously, you're living proof that you can do that. You know, myself included, like I was in a 9-to-5 doing all that sort of shit, change of identity, change of beliefs about myself. So I'd be curious how you've gone about that sort of belief breaking process of reinstalling, rewiring.
That's a great question, man. And I've got the system for this, my exact system. For me, it all starts in the mind. So it begins with new ideas, which means inspiration, which means reading. Me and you are avid readers. We get so much inspiration from books. And the reason why is because somebody can live their entire life, get all their experience, make all their mistakes, and at the end of their life, most wise men, put those teachings into some form of literature, some form of book. So you've got a life's worth of education per one book, which you can read in a week. So when you read that, you're getting a lifetime's worth of education from one book. These are your new ideas. This is what's put into your mind. These are the new beliefs, and you start to believe them, and you start to brainwash yourself with positive ideas, with positive people, because you're brainwashed by whatever you are surrounded by. So if you're surrounded by bad people, that's what seeps into your mind. If you're surrounded by good people, that seeps into your mind. It's why networking is very important. And also the things you watch on TV, the things you watch on Instagram, the things you read. Surround yourself with books about wealth, about abundance, about the greatest minds that have ever lived, and you will become them. You will slowly indoctrinate yourself into that way of thinking. So that was the first thing that I did to start breaking beliefs, was to have some new ones, some new things and some evidence of them in these books that made me believe in them. The next thing you have to do is you have to become the vehicle that you're in. Your body has to become the best possible vehicle that it can be. And if you think about this logically, what do big companies, or what did they used to do? Now they're kind of getting a bit weird, but they used to, movie stars, ad campaigns, anything someone wanted to sell you, they sell you it with beautiful people, with the best looking, most muscular, most attractive, most beautiful people, because people like beauty. They like things that are attractive. They see the essence of that, and it makes people buy it, and it makes your life better. So you have to become the most beautiful vehicle of your ideas, of your wisdom that you can be. And what does that mean? That means putting 10 kilos of muscle on. That means staying in the gym 4 or 5 times a week, absolutely training yourself to death. That means getting absolutely ripped to shreds. That means getting a tan. That means looking the best you can look, transforming the way that you dress, transforming the way you present yourself. It means working on all of that, at the same time working on your brain. And then out of nowhere, suddenly you're full of good ideas that nobody's heard, because nobody fucking reads these days because they're on their phone. So you're practically a prophet. out of nowhere, you become a prophet. You say this stuff to people your own age and they're like, what the fuck, man? How do you know that? It's like, it's basically in all these books, you just have to read them, but nobody reads. You look absolutely incredible, which makes you a magnet and people drawn to you and they want your wisdom. And then your life just suddenly starts to change. People treat you differently and it changes. And now you've got data and evidence that this works and you slowly become a new man. And before you know it, your life looks, your old life was a fucking figment of your imagination. It was a mere dream. And suddenly your reality has taken on your wildest dreams.
Oh man, mate, clip that over and over
Bloody
again.
hell.
People listen to that
Value.
day in and day out.
Value just got dropped there.
Yeah, that's it, man.
See, that wasn't me. That was infinite intelligence.
That was, you were channeling, bro.
I was channeling from the.
You were channeling, mate. There's so much you were inspired there and you were enthusiastic. So there was a few things I wanted to pick up on there. The word inspiration comes from like in spirit. You were in spirit just then, from infinite intelligence. So call infinite intelligence what you want, call it source, call it the universe, or call it God. Then you were enthusiastic as you were speaking. The word enthusiastic comes from the Greek word enthusiasmos. So it's like entheos. Entheos means the God within. So to be enthusiastic is to be channeling the God within. It's like it's hidden in our language. What I also wanted to talk about there is you spoke about your body, you spoke about your temple. So this is how I see it, and this is how I believe that religion teaches it as well. And I've been kind of diving a little bit more into kind of this idea of God and kind of quite deliberately using the word God because it's quite uncomfortable for people. So I'm kind of doing it on purpose. But this idea that your thoughts, these are your prayers. These are your daily prayers, your thoughts. Your actions, that's you worshipping. What you do throughout the day is your worship, and then your body is your temple, okay? So make sure your temple is clean, okay, and it looks good, where you're going to worship, where you're going to act, and then you need to be careful with your prayers and with your thoughts. You need to have a grip and make sure you're very careful with what you think about, because your thoughts hold creative energy. Like you said, you need to brainwash yourself with good stuff, with the positive, high vibrational stuff. And so be careful with what you're thinking about because that holds creative energy and that will dictate your actions, and then your actions will dictate the output of your life.
100%. You need to be borderline crazy about yourself. You need to be your own biggest fan in a completely delusional way, because that is the only way to change your life. You have to believe in you 10 times more than everybody else, and you have to do the actions. That's where this stuff, delusion... Every successful person is delusional until they have the results, right? People would have said the same to me before I had any results. But after that, you're a genius. You're this amazing person. So don't worry about seeming delusional at the start, as long as you're putting in the work and you're doing the actions. And one thing I actually think is quite important, because I have noticed that a huge amount of young men are utterly delusional to where they're currently at realistically in their life. And that's why I think a brotherhood and a network of honest, high-achieving guys around you, like we have in the New Elite, is super important. Because there's no point in you thinking you're the shit if you're not. But you've got to believe you can become it. You've got to believe you have brilliance inside you and put the actions in. But there's no point in believing that you're already somewhere that you're not. So I would genuinely sit down with some trusted advisors, some friends, and say, where do you rank me out of 10? How do I actually look in your eyes? And a lot of this stuff is relative, right? But someone can sit down and see whether you've been training hard at the gym. And a lot of guys, they sit down and they think they look great. They look like they've barely been to the gym. They look like they've barely sat in the gym. So you should sit down with your trusted advisors and from a place of love go, okay, what am I ranked at in the gym? Am I actually looking good to you guys? Do you think I look good? What would you rank me out of 10? How hard do you think I work? How am I in terms of my discipline? Do you guys see bad behaviors in me that I should try and fix? And have honest conversations within your network to see, okay, this is where I'm actually at. I was starting to get my ego inflated a little bit there. I wasn't making any progress and I thought this and that. And you have to be open to those criticisms, constructive criticisms from your close friends and network.
Yeah, mate, I think it's exactly what you said. It's about the brainwashing again. It's getting close to people who you trust, who are it's that old thing. If like you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you're the fittest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Like you can do it for, if you're the richest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
You know, it goes for everything. And what is really valuable about a brotherhood, but spending time with people, seeing how they operate. It's the things you pick up on that are the micro details, and then you can start implementing them yourselves. So one that every person, when I was kind of like really trying to figure all this stuff out and trying to get around people who are earning so much more money than me, every single person who I would sit down with, maybe I was on a plane next to them, or like flying or whatever, or at a restaurant, if we got talking and we would order a drink, they would always let me order first. And you'll know where this comes from, but they would always let me order first, and then they go, yep, I'll have the same. So, and I was like, why is everyone doing that? Like, these people who I really admire, every single time that I like sit down with them, they always ask me what I want to drink, and then they order the same. Like, and it's something I picked up on. And this is kind of maybe a trivial example, but the reason they do that, it's all about influence. It's all about making someone feel good and making like their decision feel validated. Oh, that was a good decision. Your choice to choose Fanta was a great decision. I'll take that too. It brings them up. It brings you closer. So that's a great one. Like anyone,
That's awesome.
It's such a.
I'd not even heard that.
You do it, bro. You've done it.
I've done it by accident.
You did it by accident. But this is the thing. You did it by accident, and it's perhaps because of people you're surrounding yourself with. Yeah. Okay. So you're absorbing it, and you are changing your actions. Even like you didn't know it consciously that you were doing it. Your actions are now different. And let's say that's me and you in that interaction. I feel validated. Jack likes me. Okay, I'm more open to you. Our relationship is deeper. So it's these things that you pick up on subconsciously or consciously from being around people who are ahead of you that then start becoming your actions. And then when your actions change, your life changes completely. So that's, yeah.
Oh man, you just reminded me. One of the greatest examples we have unfolding before our very eyes right now, and that is Max is my good friend. Most of you won't have seen Max yet. He is my new videographer. He's a lifelong friend I've had since I was 5 years old. We went to the same school. We did the same stuff, but we split around 18 years old. I went off to do my thing and he got a job. He's been the same job 9 to 5 since he was 18. And he's just quit his job and flown to Thailand to stay here with me. Now, Max sat down with me and we were just chatting casually about stuff, and he's been doing great work for us. He's really fitting in, but the changes I've seen in him already being around us compared to the 9 to 5 world is incredible. Max told me 3 days ago that he can't read, that he can't focus on a page in a book. I've just sat down with Max this morning. He said, mate, he's been with Tom yesterday, and he said, mate, I'm 140 pages into this book and I got it yesterday and I absolutely love it. And he just basically spent the day with Tom. Tom somehow convinced him to read. He's now addicted to reading. He's addicted to improving his mindset. And he's been here a week. The changes I've seen in him in 1 week is absolutely incredible. It just takes somebody showing you it's possible. Being around guys, and he comes here and he sees the money we make and he sees what we're doing, he sees how we live our life, he sees how confident we are, and he thinks, fucking hell, not only is it possible, it's easy. These guys have made it easy. And that's what I want, that kind of want you to see at home, is that this stuff is easy when you're operating at the right vibrational frequency, when you're enthusiastic, when you've got this high energy, when you believe in yourself. Nobody else does all this. You become a magnetic person. You don't meet people like this. Everyone's down in the dumps. But as soon as you meet a guy like our new video editor, Bruce just reached out to me and he had created an ad for the new Elite. I might play it in this video. He made an ad basically by going through my YouTube, going through my Instagram, combing out and downloading all of the video clips, and he did it totally for free, made this thing, and he was super positive and he sent it to me for free. And I said, Bruce, that's incredible. I don't know how you've done it, mate, but you've made an ad that I love. Would you mind doing a couple more for me with these additions, things like this? Didn't ask for any money. Bruce didn't. Just super positive. Anytime I called him, it could be 3:30 in the morning his time because he's in the States. This guy's picking up the phone and he's got energy, that positivity on the phone, never a bad word, never in a bad mood, nothing, not even paying this kid. And then he did a few more for me. He edited some VSLs for me that did really well. Haven't paid him a penny. And I just thought, there's no way I can not work with this guy. So Max has come out. We need to do vlogs every week. We need to have podcasts edit. I just signed Bruce on a monthly retainer, $2,000 a month to make videos for us. You can't be ignored when you've got the energy.
Give first.
You can't be ignored when you give first, when you're at that level. Most guys listening to this, but Bruce is 19 years old. I have hundreds of people message me to be an editor. He got chosen because he's super positive and he was willing to do the work before asking for anything else.
Yeah, and from what you said about him as well, he was like earnest. He's not pretending to be, there's no ego.
No.
It's not like, hey, boss, let me know I've made this. Like, and just like this, I see a lot of that online as well. It's just, no, accept where you are, be where you are, give, create. And like you said, yeah, he's life-changing opportunity for the man.
Mate, you can't lose. You can't lose when you go about life that way. When you're that positive person, because you are then the 1%. 1% of guys get this down. The ability to look after their bodies correctly, be positive all the time, and do real hard work and master something. If you can do that and you're not just looking for quick cash, one of the biggest things I'd say to you, if you're a young man watching this, if you're any man watching this, stop chasing the cash. The cash is not what you want. I can tell you that right now. The money is not what you want. You want the freedom. You want to build the ideal lifestyle. You want to build a lifestyle that you don't have to escape from. That was the goal. And I lost that goal recently. And I was like, fuck, what am I doing this for? Why do I want to stop? And I'm like, because your life, it doesn't matter how much money you make, Jack. If you don't enjoy doing this, you can't do it forever. So even if it means less output, even if it means less work, and it means maybe a little bit less money, have a life that you actually can enjoy doing, so you don't have to constantly think about escaping.
Yes, man. And this is so huge. Like, if people can understand this, this is huge. Like, let's say you really want a Ferrari. Let's say you're in a 9-to-5 and like you like you said about, it's not about chasing the cash. It's not about chasing the money. Like, you really want a Ferrari. Okay. So you're thinking, I want. You're in an I want state. And when you're in an I want state, I want energetically is exactly the same as I don't have.
Yeah.
I want a girlfriend is exactly the same as I don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So you want to switch those, and you want to go from I want to I give. So you want to go to a give. So you want to. So here's an example. Let's say I want new friends. I want new friends. You're saying I don't have any friends. So change that to an I give statement. How can I change that to an I give? Okay, I give people space and comfort, and I listen to them when they're around me. Okay, I give people time. I give people time. I give people space. Okay, that's good. Then the next stage down, change that into, so you've gone from I wanting, I don't have, to I give, creation, to a layer deeper, gratitude, thank you. So say thank you for the amount that you already have. So you probably have one friend, okay, in that example. Yeah. Thank you for my friend. Thank you for this. Oh, thank you that they did that for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When you're positive and you treat that friend in that positive way, you're going to attract more people. Yeah. Because you're grateful for them. Yeah. Same with money. And think about that Ferrari as an example. Like you said, you probably don't want the Ferrari. You want that maybe feeling of status. Yeah. Okay. So how can you feel that right now? Yeah. And focus on that and say thank you for the amount that you already have in this moment, and then you'll experience more of it. And you'll probably realize the Ferrari wasn't the thing in the first place. So I think that's a really interesting way to...
it's never the thing.
It's never the thing. It's always inside.
It's never the thing. Yeah. You're always looking for something that you've already got. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. You could fucking run around the world traveling, trying to find and run away from your problems, when you realize all the peace and stillness and everything, all the feelings you desire are inside you right now. Just like you said with the Ferrari. The feeling of status that you want to achieve by getting that Ferrari is in you right now. It's a chemical reaction. That's all it is. You have to find a way to believe that as if it's already happened, to feel that way as if it's already happened. And that all comes from, like you said, a place of gratitude and being thankful for what you've got and giving to the world. And when you give at a point where you love your life because you feel positive every day, because you give your best work, because you love people and you look after them, you just get rich by accident.
So the funny example this morning, man, I'm sitting meditating, vibrating. So
vibrating
myself off. Make sure you vibrate yourself off every morning. Vibrating myself off this morning. Come out of meditation, feel good. Someone's messaged me, I'm heading to Bali next. They've sorted accommodation. Don't have to think about that. Someone else has messaged me, hey man, I just sent you some money because of the referral you sent me. Like, and that particular situation, I could have, I chose to kind of connect to people where I could have gone, hey, maybe I can have that money. Maybe I can offer you X, Y, and Z. But I was like, actually, I'm not the best person for that. Connect to, but then it comes back to you. I've just sat there. I sat there. I'm feeling great. Someone's sorted my accommodation. Someone's just sent me money. I'm like, this is a good start to the day. And all I did was, Yeah. So, but this is, and to be clear, I haven't always done this. I've been selfish in the past.
Yeah, me too.
These will get you in trouble. Be selfless for yourself.
Yeah.
Because it will get you in trouble when you're selfish, when you take.
Yeah.
that's not gonna stay with you for long.
It upsets the fucking balance, mate. It upsets the vibrational balance. It tips you off the end and you fucking implode.
Greed.
It's greed. It is. It really, really is. And as soon as you ignore it, things start flowing to you. You got to attract things into your life. You got to let things flow into your life. Stop chasing them so hard. Just focus on the actions. Just focus on being. Just focus on doing. Just focus on giving. It's all good to have goals. We should know where we're aiming. But for me, a goal is setting. It's kind of like a nice thing to think about. And then I just break that goal down into actionable steps. The actionable steps and the daily inputs are what matter. If you've completed them, you've been a success. That you only draw value for yourself from things you can control directly. So if you say to yourself, I'm going to gym every day. I'm going to do 10 outreach messages for my product or sales. I'm going to make 1 or 2 pieces of content a day. And I'm going to send messages to 5 people I love and try and build out relationships. And then you just have your daily actions and you control them. Whether or not they get done is entirely up to you. And if you complete them, that's what you build your confidence and your self-worth off. Compared to, I want to make 20 grand this month. I didn't get it. I'm a worthless piece of shit.
Yep.
You could make that 20 grand this month and still be a worthless piece of shit if you didn't do your daily actions. And you could get nowhere near that 20 grand this month, and you could be feeling the best and have done the best you possibly could and feel great within yourself just because you turned up and you did what you said you were going to do. And that's the important stuff.
Man, that's like, there's so much wisdom there. Like, the only thing you can control is the actions daily. And if you do the actions daily, you've won. I think you've said this, man. It's like creation is victory. That's one of your things, isn't it? Like, creation is victory.
I can't remember saying that one, but
you'll take it.
I'll take it.
You'll take it.
That sounds bloody good to me.
Yeah. Well, mate, like, this is something I wanted to touch on here. And I think it's Vladimir Zeman is the guy who wrote Reality Transurfing.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on that briefly because you spoke about having a goal. You spoke about having a goal and you spoke about the actions that take you there. And this might change your life if you realize this. And it's exactly what you said. Like, if you set that goal of, hey, 20 grand, you don't achieve it, then you feel like shit. You're in a bad cycle there. So, and that's because you've placed, and he calls it in the book, excess importance. You've placed excess importance on that goal.
Yeah.
Now, the way to do this and the way to actually get to the goal, it needs to feel natural to you. So Albert Einstein says, imagination is the preview of life's coming attractions. If you can imagine it, you can have it. If you can imagine it, you can have it. Now, let's say you're stuck in a 9-to-5 and you start imagining yourself on a yacht in Barbados and there's cash everywhere with girls in bikinis. And you're like, if I imagine it, I can have it. Like, I've listened to a podcast and I heard that. So now I'm going to do it. What you'll find is that it actually feels really unnatural to you because you're not that person. You're not that person who would be on a yacht. So you're thinking these things, I'm imagining this thing because you've heard it, because I've just said it or whatever. And then you're like, but that doesn't actually feel right. So your actions are actually going to come from here. They're going to continue to be the wrong actions. But what else could we imagine? So me and you, we could imagine now that, I don't know, we're going to go to the cinema tonight to watch a film. Okay, we can imagine that. It's not happened in reality yet. We could imagine that. But what would we do? We could work out the actions that we would need to take to make that happen. It feels very natural to us. It's not crazy. We just go to the cinema. So your goals need to feel natural to you. It needs to feel natural. And you might say like, right, well, how does it feel natural if I'm not making 20 grand a month or I don't have a yacht? Like, I don't understand what you're saying. You need to spend time feeling as if those goals have already happened. You have to feel it. So every day, read your vision, think of it, and this is what it is. It's about feeling it. Because when you feel it, when you change your thoughts and then you change how you're physically made up, you feel like that person, even though reality hasn't caught up yet, you're going to act like that person. So when you meet someone, you're in this state of like, everything's fucking awesome. This is cool. I feel great. And they're like, I like this person. They're going to give you opportunities, whatever. You don't know, reality is going to help you. The right people are going to come in. But whereas if you feel like the shame and guilt and these lower vibrational feelings, you're going to be literally opportunities that could change your life. You're just going to be missing them like this day after day. So that's a really important thing to think about. And I think often gets missed out on this whole goal creation thing is it must feel natural to you. So spend as much time living it, feeling it, and then it will feel natural to you because you feel it all the time. So it's not just focus on the external things, focus on the internal things of that goal. How does that goal feel internally? That's what will make the real difference.
100%. That's psycho-cybernetics, basically.
Yes.
The art of imagining things as if they've already happened and becoming that person, becoming that feeling, because it's all just feelings, basically, at the end of the day. And I used to use this when I worked in a sales job. I'd imagine that I'd had my best day ever in the morning on the drive there. I'd imagine, what does 3 sales feel like in a day? And I'd feel it before it had happened, and I'd walk in as if it had already happened, and it did happen. It would happen. I would have my best days when I truly mastered that feeling, because you give off a new energy. And the world is very, very strange. It is not logical. It is not fucking just... I don't even know how to describe it. It's not fucking squares and circles. It's fucking rainbows and shit, but not in a gay way.
It's rainbows and shit, but not in a gay way.
It's magical. The world is magical. It's not all logical. It is energies and magic and spells. It is. I've seen it.
It's the Tao, man. So it's the Tao. It's the great way. It's God.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Like, it's uncomfortable. Perhaps hearing the word God, maybe if you're religious or maybe if you're not, this is what it is. Like, it's God. That's what we're experiencing, all of this. We're happy to say source. We're happy to say, the universe is helping me out. Let's call it what it is. It's God. Like, let's be respectful. People have worshipped little idols in the past. Let's be respectful for this whole universe and call it what it is. But if you set the intention, okay, and you, like you said, you start to do these actions that are for the good of others, because, like I said, the glory of God is a human fully alive. So if you are fully alive, you can help others like you've done, like how you've inspired people. The best thing you can do for others is inspire them to also gain what they would like in their lives and feel how they would like to feel. The best thing you can do is be fully alive yourself to inspire others to be fully alive, because that's what we want. We want everyone fully alive, vibrating high,
Exactly.
helping each other out. So yeah, there's a bunch of thoughts there.
And that's why we started this podcast today with this topic, because I felt for the last week or so I was not in a place to inspire others, because I've gotten too focused on the bloody result. I've gotten too focused on money, too focused on statistics, not focused on looking after myself, not focused on internally growing. And I was in a place where I can no longer give inspiration to anybody because I'm not fucking inspired. And all I want to do is just curl up in a ball and sleep for a decade and a half.
Yeah, I know that.
But it didn't take a decade and a half, luckily, to get back to my normal self. It took 5 days of no snus and a little bit of slight little bit of depression in those days. And now I'm feeling good again, man. I'm feeling inspired again. One thing I wanted to finish up on before we clock out. I realise I haven't done the intro, but I'll just put it in. I'll throw it in.
We'll sort it out.
I'll throw it in somehow and post. Is the 80-20 rule. And how do you identify what's actually important and what takes you further in the journey compared to what is just fucking trivial nonsense that you don't need to do? And how much do you dial into the 80-20 rule? How do you find what's important and what is not important in your life that entrepreneurs and guys listening to this can use in their life right now to free up time for the things that really matter?
Yeah. So the 80-20 rule is 20% of your actions will create 80% of the results. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. So there's so many different things. Just you can do it with everything. So for example, if you've got clients, look at the clients. Let's say you've got a business, you've got a service. Look at the clients who are easiest to sign and paid the most, and then literally ask them, like, hey, how did you find me? Why did you like me? What bit of content did you watch?
Yeah.
That's great information. Then do more of that. Like, just, see what the results are, see what the best results you have got so far are. And then if it's clients, for example, ask them questions. Okay, how did you find me? And then do more of that. Yeah. And then you're going to get the better results.
100%. Look inside your business and go, like you just said, how did you find me? Oh, I found you on Instagram. Oh, 90% of people find me on Instagram. Nobody finds me on Twitter. Nobody finds me on YouTube. Yet I'm spending 5 hours, 10 hours a week making content there. Take all that time, stick it into Instagram. Now you're just getting more results for less work.
Yeah.
And 80-20 is a rule I come back to time and time again. It's just remember, 80% of the shit you're doing right now doesn't fucking matter. But 20% is really fucking important. So try and dial that in. Try and figure out what that is in your life, what is actually important. And I personally think a lot of it is the inner work, is the self-work. My life just instantly takes on a better feeling, a better approach. I can make better decisions when I'm working on myself. That is part of that 20% of the work that breeds 80% of the results, is making sure you are the best you can possibly be. Another thing is abundance in your life, one thing I've noticed with abundance is when you give, you receive, and it's crazy how this happens when you have an online business. But like you said, giving to beggars and stuff like that, giving money, tipping people, giving extra generously in your life. I've found on days where I feel like I need to save, I don't have enough money, I need to save, I'm in a feeling of lack, and I don't give money away, I don't make any money those days. The money's gone. The flow's been cut off because I'm not willing to give. When I reintroduce that flow, whenever I'm going through a bit in business, and this happens all the time in business, you have good months, you have bad months, you have good days, you have bad days. I notice when the flow of money stops, I'm like, fuck, don't get anxious about this, Jack. Give more. And I go out with money in my pockets and I fucking give it away to every beggar that I see. I give away extra tip here, extra tip there, bang, 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 generous, generous, generous. Don't think about myself. Think about improving other people's lives. I open my phone up, bing, 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 fucking sales come through. It's nuts, man. It happens every fucking time.
The hand that giveth gathers.
Jesus Christ, you have so much wisdom in your brain.
Cheers, man. Mate, you need to do the sponsor, but I wanted to do, if it's cool, a quick plug for you and say that, one, thank you for inviting me on. Again, it's been an absolute pleasure spending some time with you.
You're welcome, man.
But also, thank you for everything you do with the New Elite, with everything you've done. I just wanted to say on the podcast, Jack really looks after his brothers. He really does. And it's yes. Yes. Tom Spark approved. But he really, really does. And it's important because a lot of these guys online, it's an interesting space. A lot of these guys, like, they'll get you in and then you fucking never hear from them. Jack looks after you, and he really does. And yeah, joining the New Elite was one of the last year, I think I made that decision. One of the best decisions that I made. Met so many people, met so many incredible people. And Jack's, really looked after me as well. And it's not just in terms of business connections. He's a very good mentor and a very good coach as well. And we'll drop bits of wisdom when you need to hear them. And so
I appreciate that very much, and it's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you the past year, Tom.
Of course, brother.
But yeah, that is it. Thank you very much for coming on, Tom. If you haven't found Tom already from our last podcast, his links are underneath this video. Go and check him out. He's going to be huge. And let's go to this ad. Let's do this ad quickly. I get a bit excited on the pod still. I haven't quite figured them out, so sometimes I don't know when to press my buttons or do my ads.
Are we missing one?
Oh, God, we're missing it.
Oh, it's there.
Oh. Yeah, coming with you for a sponsor to finish out the video from my favourite company that do supplements, Top Shelf Grind. We took these just before the pod.
I think they worked.
They worked.
Yeah.
I felt good. I felt great. We've got Alpha Grind coffee here and Kingmaker. Kingmaker's awesome. Great for the bedroom. This stuff will make you perform in the bedroom. That's not said on the packet, but I've noticed that to be one of the biggest effects. Better pumps in the gym, better testosterone. It is a testosterone support supplement. And Alpha Grind is a nootropic coffee, which is very strong and just keeps you dialed in 2 to 3 times a week for the coffee. They've also got nicotine-free pouches now that I've actually got some of. They've just got caffeine and nootropics in.
Nice.
And they've also got a sleep supplement called Alpha Grind PM to help you sleep like a king. So, boys, if you want to check out any of that, check it out in the link in description. Tom, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And, guys, that's another episode that we've just done right there. And I'm going to play you our intro song now. But it's now our outro song.
Smooth.
Nice. Nice shades, brother.
Thanks, sir.
They're Oakley's. Very cool. These are Tom Ford's. And your name's Tom.
There we go. And your name's not Oakley.
My name is not Oakley. And your name's Tom. Awesome. Good stuff, guys. Great to see you again. See you very soon. Wapow.